A day in the life of Prince Albert, Saxon sass, royal chores, and Victoria's husband's secretary. So, you've married the Queen of the British Empire. You've moved to a country where nobody likes you. Your wife is the definition of emotionally high maintenance. And your full-time job? Literally running her life while trying not to look too foreign doing it. Welcome to the glamorous, grueling, and slightly sad daily routine of Prince Albert. Part husband, part political advisor, part unpaid event planner. Let's take a look at a day in the life of Prince Albert, the most overworked man in Buckingham Palace. Albert's mornings started early, 6 a.m. early, like, hello Saxon work ethic early. While Victoria was still fighting with her hairbrush and sulking over the weather, Albert had already done a bit of exercise, had a cold bath, yes, he was that kind of guy, reviewed correspondence, and mentally prepared himself for a full day of being a walking clipboard. He was a micromanager with a morning routine tighter than a Victorian corset. He liked charts, plans, maps, schedules, colour-coded nonsense, and calling people out when they weren't efficient enough. He also liked architecture, a lot, like alarmingly a lot. You couldn't leave him alone for 10 minutes without him redesigning something. By breakfast time, Prince Albert was already 3 memos deep into his day. Breakfast with Victoria wasn't always cosy. She loved him, yes, but let's be honest, she also relied on him, emotionally, politically, administratively, spiritually, probably telepathically too. Albert brought the briefing papers to breakfast like a middle manager who just wanted to get through the agenda. Victoria brought her feelings. Victoria's diary. Dearest Albert looked so beautiful at breakfast. I do adore him, but he sighed. That sigh? That was a man who knew his inbox would never be empty. Albert wasn't just Victoria's husband. He was effectively the CEO of Queen Inc. He oversaw household management, reviewed government policy, helped educate their children, advised ministers, reorganised royal finances, and raised several palaces from the ground up just for fun. He didn't just support Victoria, he ran the Dan monarchy. He also micromanaged their kids' education with the passion of a tiger dad. Latin before lunch, French dictation after. No slouching, no fun. No Prince Bertie being an idiot, which, unfortunately for Bertie, was his entire brand. Albert, basically. I love my children, but I'm also incredibly disappointed in them. Albert's version of me time involved making sure no one else's time was wasted. Midday often saw him meeting with artists, architects, or engineers. He adored innovation, from plumbing systems to glass pavilions. You know the Crystal Palace? That was Albert's baby. While other consorts might spend their afternoons hunting or painting, Albert spent his drawing up blueprints and sending memorandums about chimney drafts. And if Victoria sent him a love letter mid-meeting, which she often did, he'd pause to write back in perfect cursive and then go right back to lecturing someone on the airflow efficiency of Victorian greenhouses. Prince Albert hated court life. He found the endless pageantry of aristocrats standing around in feathers and military medals exhausting, but he still had to play the part. So he shook hands, gave speeches, smiled tightly at people who mispronounced his name. Meanwhile, Victoria would be having feelings somewhere nearby, and Albert would need to reassure her that she was loved, respected, and not too short again. Albert, silently.
I miss Germany and logic.
Family dinners in the royal household were tense. Albert liked order. The kids liked being kids. Victoria liked him more than anyone else in the room. He often left meals looking like he needed a 3-hour walk and a glass of brandy, or maybe just a world without Bertie. Prince Albert, actual quote about Bertie,
I never saw a more inane boy.
Yikes. Evenings were filled with public functions, musical recitals, or just more work. Sometimes he'd join Victoria for a piano duet, him playing like a professional, her mostly enjoying the vibe. He'd write in his journal every night, sometimes logging the day's workload, political issues, or family dramas. Often melancholic, deeply introspective, and definitely the kind of guy who would have had a private blog in the early 2000s. He wasn't a man of many public displays, but in private he was all depth, duty, and just a dash of tragic poetry.
Before bed, Albert would do one final check on the household accounts. Yes, really. Possibly answer late letters and maybe have a moment of actual peace. If Victoria wanted to snuggle, that took precedence. She adored him to an almost exhausting degree. And then finally, the lights would go out in the prince consort's room. Probably while he was still drafting a proposal to reform sewage systems or improve chimney sweep safety.
Prince Albert wasn't just the man behind the monarch, he was the machine behind the monarchy. A German perfectionist with a heart full of duty, a brain full of architecture, and a home full of chaos. He never got a crown, but he carried one every single day.
So next time your partner asks for help with just one little thing, spare a thought for poor Albert, husband of the century and spreadsheet king of the British Empire. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and embrace your inner overworked Victorian. This has been Past People. Good night, dear Albert.